A very pleasant evening to you and welcome to Atlantic Television Global News. First, the headlines. Court to rule on Edison Ehie's case, April 25, Silva. APC seek disbandment of tribunal. PDP releases timetable for Ondo governorship poll. CBN seeks Nigerians' views on interest rate. Haiti government declares state of emergency. Curfew. Portable reviews conditions for some collaboration. Iwobi returns to Instagram after AFCON criticism. I am Angel Wokoma with the news and now the rest of our stories. The Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed April 25 for the ruling in application by the Chief of Staff to Rivers State Governor Edison Ehie, seeking to set aside an arrest warrant issued against him and 5 others. Justice Emeka Nwite fixed the date on Monday after hearing argument from parties in the street, while the counsel for the defendant prayed the court for an order to restrain the plaintiff from carrying out the arrest order. The prosecution prayed the court to dismiss the application. The defendants are being prosecuted by the police for their alleged involvement in the burning of the Rivers State House of Assembly and attempted murder. They were also arraigned before Justice Bolaji Olajuwon of the Federal High Court in Abuja on 7-count charges. The court had on January 31st granted an arrest warrant request to police following an application from the Inspector General of Police, IGP. Justice Nwite granted the order following an ex parte filed by the Inspector General of Police through his counsel, Simeon Law, a senior advocate of the Nigerian. At today's proceedings, counsel to the defendant, Femi Falana, Oluwole Adealadeoye, filed separate motions asking the courts to set aside the arrest warrant as well as to restrain the police from carrying out the order pending the determination of the case. Counsel to the Chief of Staff, Oluwole Adealadeoye, told the court that the police never invited Ehie for questioning. He also raised the issue of jurisdiction, stating that the court had no jurisdiction to entertain the matter as the incident happened in Rivers. Similarly, Falana, who stood for the second to sixth defendant, submitted that the law stipulates that an offense shall be tried where it was committed. After listening to submissions from parties on the street, Justice Emeka Nwite adjourned till April 25 to rule on the motion for a stay of execution. Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara has explained that the reason his administration chose peace is to sustain the achievements of the past government and the ongoing development in the state. Fubara said his message of peace, sacrifices and commitment has liberated the people of the state, who in return support his government. The governor made the assertion yesterday at a ceremony organized by the Okrika Council of Chiefs and the people of Okrika to honor the Amayanabo of Okochiri Kingdom, King Ateke Tom. Reacting on Atlantic Television Open Conversation, a public affairs analyst, Luckyman Egila, lauded the disposition of Governor Fubara as he maintained that the pathway to a lasting peace is to do what is right.
Governor said he wants peace. If you want peace, you follow peace. You do what is right.
Okay.
The governor knows too well that the 23 local government chairmen of the state and the entire people of Rivers State voted him in as the governor. The person that led his election, that campaigned for him, is the current minister of FCT, who was the former governor of Rivers State. If Wike does not mean well for Rivers people, he will not work towards achieving the goal for Fubara to be a governor. If they allow Fubara to contest with other candidates, Fubara will not win distinguished Senator Magnus Ngeye Abe in the pool. He made because he has a weight, and that weight is His Excellency Ian Wike, that works towards making sure that he wins. And that weight is because Wike has his voice in the 23 local government of Rivers State. The local government chairman, they are strong men that has known the looks and crannies.
We're so sorry for that mix-up. Is Honorable Churchill Wala instead of a lucky man. Now moving on to the stories, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has described as unpatriotic the national protest by the Nigerian Labour Congress. His comment made on Monday while inspecting the Enugu-Port Harcourt Road is in reaction to the recent protest by the NLC over the precarious economic situation in the country. Soaring inflation at 29.9% in February and consequent cost of living and hunger across the country had led to protests by citizens, with the NLC holding a nationwide strike on Tuesday last week. Umahi, however, believes that the latest protest is one too many under the less than a year-old President Bola Tinubu administration. For the minister, contrary to the position of Labour and despite the current situation, the government has set things in motion for better times ahead. On Thursday, 2 days after the NLC protest, the president cheered the unions during an official visit to Lagos State to commission the Red Line train. All Progressive Congress and its governorship candidate in the last November gubernatorial election in Bayelsa State, Timpere Silva, have passed a vote of no confidence on the Bayelsa State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal. They accused the tribunal headed by Justice Adekunle Adeleye of undue bias against them in the conduct of proceedings and demanded its outright disbandment and reconstitution. In a strongly worded petition to the President of the Court of Appeal, the APC and Silva accused the tribunal of denying them fair hearing as required by the law. Among others, APC and its governorship candidate claimed they had lined up over 400 witnesses to establish their petition, while the tribunal permitted them to call only 52 witnesses. They alleged that in the records of proceedings they obtained, the tribunal made several comments and observations in writing, which pointed to the fact that they have made up its mind to go the way of the respondent. In a letter they brought to the tribunal through their counsel, I.R. Balogun, APC and Silva demanded that the tribunal should adjourn proceedings in the matter indefinitely, pending the time the Court of Appeal President will come out with a decision on the petition. Although lawyers to the respondents frowned at the allegations against the tribunal, they agreed that the adjournment be granted. In a short ruling, Justice Adeleye adjourned the matter sine die indefinitely to await the decision of the Court of Appeal President on the allegations of bias and denial of fair hearing as raised by the two petitioners. The respondents in the APC and Silva's petition on the election are the Independent National Electoral Commission, Governor Doye Diri, Deputy Governor Lawrence, and the People's Democratic Party. In Akwa Ibom State government is set to engage registered vendors to set up redemption centers where poor citizens availed of food vouchers could purchase made basic food items at government discounted rates. Governor Umo Eno, making the revelation in Uyo Monday, explained that the intended modalities aims at checking middlemen buying staple food, holding it to resell at cutthroat prices. Addressing the hardship posed by soaring food prices, the governor at the All Nations Christian Ministry March 1st Sunday service said, "We want this food to get to the real people. If not properly managed, people will buy it, hold and resell at a higher price again to the masses." He assured that the Ministry of Agriculture would make a farm input available for cultivation and also would be ready to offtake from farmers willing to sell surplus harvest. Two police operatives identified as Inspector Abubakar Faku and Sergeant Elisha John have been lynched in Edo State for allegedly killing a commercial motorcycle rider. The incident happened in Ikmeshi, Akoko, Edo local government area of the state. The police operatives are said to be escorting a former member of the Edo State House of Assembly, Emmanuel Agbaje, when a vehicle in their convoy hit and killed a motorcycle rider whose identity was yet to be confirmed at the time of this report. The operatives were taken to the Edo State Security Volunteer Network, where some angry youths were said to have invaded the facility and lynched two operatives. They were said to have also attacked the vigilante facility and destroyed their furniture while threatening to deal with vigilante members who tried to rescue the police officers. However, members of the vigilante group were able to rescue two other police operatives who are currently receiving treatment in Ife Jola Hospital, Igara, and recover some rifles belonging to the police operatives. A special advisor to Lagos State Governor on Housing, Barakad Odunuga Bakare, has disclosed that the state's monthly rental scheme will be enforced before the end of 2024 or early next year. She stated it during a recent press briefing of the Lagos State Real Estate Regulatory Authority in Ikeja, Lagos. Odunuga Bakare reiterated that the 5 billion naira allocated for the monthly rental scheme was still set aside and untouched. She added that the fact that the scheme was slow to take off showed that the state government was still trying to perfect one thing or the other. Recall that in 2021, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, had said the current rental model in which people pay yearly rent in advance to property owners has become inadequate to address contemporary realities in the housing sector, especially in the cities where demand for property is high and expensive. The governor advocated a monthly rental system which he said would be affordable to low and middle income earners pressured by the yearly rent obligation. National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has released its schedule of activities ahead of the Ondo State governorship election. Independent National Electoral Commission had set November 16, 2024 as a scheduled date for the Ondo State governorship election. The schedule signed by the PDP National Organizing Secretary Umaru Bature was displayed on Monday on a notice board at the party's national headquarters, Data Plaza in Abuja. According to the timetable, the party's Congress where its governorship candidate will emerge will be held on Thursday, April 25, 2024. As per the schedule of events, the interactive meeting between critical stakeholders and the National Working Committee is scheduled for March 5, 2024. As outlined in the PDP timetable, governorship aspirants will undergo screening at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja on March 27. The screening report is scheduled to be submitted on March 29. It also scheduled the appeals on the screening exercise for April 2nd, 2024. The Ward Congress to elect 3-man ad hoc ward delegates will take place between April 6 to April 7, with the Ward Congress appeal scheduled for April 10th. The guideline also indicates that the certification of the deputy governorship candidate by the NWC of the party will occur on May 9, while May 20 is the deadline for submitting the name of the governorship candidate and the Independent National Electoral Commission. According to the timetable, the final date for withdrawal and replacement of candidates is June 10. Immediate past Ondo Deputy Governor Abula Ajayi has said that he would emerge victorious at the governorship primary of the People's Democratic Party scheduled to hold next month. Ajayi, who declared his intention to contest as governor at the media parley in Akure, said he would protest if the primary were a smear of transparency. Ajayi said his decision to govern the state was because he has the capacity and experience to keep everybody busy. The former deputy governor promised to build a railway system to link coastal communities to Kogi State if elected governor of the Sunshine State. He said the state has no business to build a seaport but to provide infrastructure in the riverine communities to attract private investors to build the seaports. Ajayi said he understood how to run the state without relying on monthly allocation from the Federation account. He explained that the planned railway to link Kogi State will reduce the number of heavy-duty trucks on the highway. And also moving on now, wife of the late Ondo State Governor Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu has described her late husband's niece, Funke Akeredolu Aruna, as shameless for supporting the sitting governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, ahead of the November governorship election in the state. Betty spoke through her Instagram account on Monday. The governor, who was formerly Akeredolu's deputy, was sworn in on 27th December following the death of his former boss. Before the governor's death, internal wrangling had severed his relationship with Aiyedatiwa, bordering on alleged disloyalty of the then deputy governor, which led to the disbandment of his aides. The State Assembly, through the backings of the governor, also attempted to impeach Aiyedatiwa, even through the details of the duo's quarrel remained sketchy to Akeredolu's death. This outburst has, however, generated outrage on social media, as many believe she would be mourning her husband and not engaging in a fight with anyone. Some appeal to her to maintain her cool on issues relating to the election. Ondo State Governor Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa on Monday said his administration will release a capital grant of 1.2 billion naira in the 2024 budget to the Olusegun Agago University of Science and Technology, Okitipupa, for speedy completion of abandoned buildings of the School of Science and others. Governor Aiyedatiwa stated this at the second convocation ceremony of the institution, reiterating that the institution's monthly subvention of 91 million naira will also be given due consideration to enhance the operations of the school. The governor also promised to facilitate the completion of the abandoned hostel buildings being funded by the Niger Delta Development Commission and the Oil Producing Area Development Commission without further delay. The governor, who commissioned the new Central Engineering Workshop Complex in the institution, commended the grand vision of the founding fathers of the institution for their foresight and commitment to development of the school. Part of the highlight of the event was announcement of an automatic employment offer from the Ondo State government to the best graduating student, Adedayo Taiwo Janet, by the governor. Earlier in his welcome address, the Pro-Chancellor, Professor Adebo Adeshomoju, thanked Governor Aiyedatiwa for directing the continuation of the ongoing construction of some internal roads in the institution. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Temi, noted that the institution was graduating 1,341 students at the School of Agriculture, Food and Natural Resources, School of Engineering and Engineering Technology, as well as students in BSc Statistics program and the School of Science. Health professionals under the aegis of the Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals working in various health facilities owned by the Oyo State government on Monday, March 4, embarked on a 7-day running strike. The strike will involve laboratory scientists, physiotherapists, dental therapists, medical social workers, radiographers, nutritionists, dietitians, and health records, and information managers in all general, state, and specialist teaching hospitals throughout the state. The practitioners include the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria, the Nigeria Society of Physiotherapists, the Association of Dental Technologies of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Dental Therapists Association. Others are the Association of Medical Social Workers of Nigeria, Association of Radiographers of Nigeria, Association of Nutritionists and Dentitians, Association of Health Records and Information Management Practitioners of Nigeria, and the Oyo State Association of Hospitals and Administrative Pharmacists. The workers said they decided on the warning strike due to the failure of the state government to exceed the demands which have been tabled before various government committees in over 2 years. The 10-point demand put forward by the group and the seeking urgent government intervention include implementation of the new National Hazard Allowance for health professionals, implementation of teaching allowance for NUAHP members who are deeply involved in the training of interns and students on clinical and research postings, adjustment of cohorts table for our members and the service of Oyo State as already implemented for medical doctors since 2021. The demands also include urgent revamping and adequate funding of the state health facilities, release of promotion letters for qualified members who participated in the last promotion exercise, and the state skipping of cohort 10 on cohort salary table as applicable to grade level 11 on GL scale as awarded by National Industrial Court of Nigeria, restoration of call duty allowance for dental therapists, recruitment of more health workers and professionals to include members of NUAHP to replace those who are retiring and those who left the service of the state, among other demands. Addressing the press conference before declaring the strike at the Congress held Monday, NUAHP Unit Chairman Comrade Olarewaju Johnny, flanked by others, said the union will no longer allow her members to be sidelined and treated as inconsequential in the scheme of things in the health sector in the state. People's Democratic Party in Benue State has called on the state governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, to account for how he expended 44 billion naira in special intervention grants received from the federal government between August 2023 to 2024. The opposition party in the state, through its state publicity secretary, Bem Bam Loyum, made the call while reacting to the submission of the leader of the All Progressive Congress in the state, Senator Tile Gaido, that 44 billion naira in the form of intervention funds were accrued to the state in the past 9 months. Gaido, who spoke at the APC stakeholders meeting in Markodi on Sunday, had listed the special intervention funds accrued to the state to include 5 billion naira post-subsidy removal, 9 billion naira infrastructure funds, and 30 billion naira sub-national intervention funds. However, the state government and other states have denied receipt of 30 billion naira as alleged by the Senate President, Senator Godwin Akpabio. The State Commissioner of Finance and Budget Planning, Michael Olegba, who spoke to our correspondent about a week ago, stated that there were some interventions received from the federal government but denied the 30 billion naira interaction fund. The PDP in the state described the statement by the APC leader as shocking, saying there had been no disclosure from the governor of receipt of such funds except the post-subsidy removal, that's the palliatives fund, which after much pressure from our end, he had accepted having received in part 2 billion naira and thereafter had kept sealed lips over the outstanding 3 billion naira. Now moving on to the Kogi State. Kogi State Police Command has warned applicants for 2022 recruitment of police constables to beware of fraudsters. Kogi Police Public Relations Officer SP William Oveaya gave the warning in a statement on Monday while giving an update on the scheduled computer-based test for successful applicants. The Commissioner for Police, CP Bethrand C. Onwaha, while congratulating the successful applicant for the CBT, reiterates that the recruitment is absolutely free, thereby warning applicants to beware of job scammers who may want to defraud them. He advised applicants to shun any form of examination malpractices as well as any other acts that was contrary to the rules for the examination. Other than that, anybody caught will be prosecuted accordingly. And now moving on to the Kano State. Kano State Police Command has arrested 18 street urchins for allegedly conspiring to attack innocent members of the general public. The State Police Commissioner Useni Gomel made this disclosure in an interview with newsmen in Kano on Monday. Gomel said the suspects are members of an unlawful society posed to launch unprovoked attacks on innocent members of the public. The street urchins, according to him, were arrested at some crime-prone identified locations, criminal hideouts, and black spots in the metropolis. He listed the areas to include Mazuna Tanko, Dandishe, Kofara Dan Agundi, Kofara Mata, and Filin Idi. Others are Kofara Naisa, Kawa Diso, Kuka Bulukia, and Dorai Baba. The CP said items recovered from the suspect during the spot raid conducted on them included dangerous weapons and some dry weeds suspected to be marijuana. Gume added that all the suspects will be properly screened, profiled, and after the conclusion of the investigation, prosecuted in court. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this short break. Stay with us.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now the rest of our stories. House of Representatives is set to issue a warrant of arrest on the executive members of Binance Group, owners of cryptocurrency platform who were absent at the investigative hearing held on Monday at the National Assembly. Chairman of the Committee on Financial Crimes, Jinja Omosibe, met the disclosure on Monday in Abuja during the investigative hearing against Binance Group over serious allegations ranging from financing of terrorism, money laundering, tax evasion, amongst others, by Niger Delta Council, an Empowerment for Unemployment Youth initiative. The House, through its Committee on Financial Crimes, had issued initiative in invitation twice to Binance Group, but had legal representatives, which according to the committee is against the norms of the parliament. No executive member of the group was present at the hearing on Monday. According to the legal representatives of Binance, Senator Ihenyem The inability of the executive members to appear before the House committee was due to the arrest of 2 executive members of Binance by the National Security Advisor and are still in custody, hence the reason for the absence before the committee.
The situation that Binance had been faced with, particularly in the last 7 days, had forced a very, very difficult situation on it. What has happened, Mr. Chairman, is that 2 Binance executives who came into the country were arrested by another Nigerian authority, specifically the National Security Advisor Office. And since then till date, these 2 Binance executives are still in custody. For this reason, it has been difficult, extremely difficult, for the global board of Binance to mobilize other executive members of the company to Nigeria, because there is genuine concern about their safety and security. And so this is the situation that we have been forced to contend with.
A member of the committee, Issa Dongonyaro, moved a motion calling the committee to evoke its legislative powers through the House to issue a warrant of arrest on the management of Binance. Chairman of the committee, Omusibe, who put the motion to voice a vote which was adopted, noted that the Green Chamber will issue a warrant of arrest on Binance over various allegations leveled against them, ranging from financing of terrorism, tax evasion, among its others.
A report back to the House so that the House may invoke its constitutional power to subpoena Binance to be brought before it so that it may answer these questions for Nigerians. I believe we are just dragging our feet. Binance is not there. You have written, you have given us the synopsis. Mr. Chairman, let's do the proper thing. Let the House take leadership of this issue. Let Nigerians be in the forefront of what is going on. There's nobody better than the House. I so move.
Recommend to the House of Reps to invoke its powers, its constitutional powers, by issuing a subpoena and also issuing a warrant for Binance executives to be arrested and brought to this committee to answer these questions. Questions relating to financing of terrorism, money laundering, and other financial crimes as stated in the petition, including evasion of tax. That's the position of this committee. Binance has been operating in the financial space of this country for more than 6 years now, and they have not less than 20 million Nigerians on their platform they exploited.
Ministry of Women Affairs says it has plans to unveil mobile court for violence against women and children, Nigeria for Women project and the Integrity Brigade, which court across the civil society groups, religiousness leaders, traditional leaders and media to help regulate government and NGOs on decision-making to better Nigeria. The Ministry of Women Affairs Barrister Uju Kennedy said this while briefing newsmen in Abuja.
The onset allow the poor to breathe. That day, Mr. President mentioned that the poor should breathe. And other serious support, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is giving to Nigerians by signing for a restructured Nigeria for Women project, restructured one, so that help coming for women will go directly to the vulnerable women and the rural women. Money, marriage, and so many other things is part of it. Number 3, the president endorsed a mobile court to address violence, the mild and minor issues on violence against women and children. And the Nigerian Forum endorsed it too. So it's part of what we are celebrating, and on that 7th of March 2024, we will get it. So it's part of what we are unveiling. There's Nigeria for Women project, restructured. That is part of what the president is unveiling. And then the most important is the Integrity Brigade, which all of you are joining, and most Nigerians will equally volunteer to come in. So many Nigerians have volunteered. They are coming in. The royal fathers across our nation, the religious leaders, both Muslim and Christian, they are equally coming and joining the Integrity Brigade. What will the Integrity Brigade do? They want to make sure that every decision that will be made concerning Nigeria must be the one that will benefit Nigerians.
The minister further explained that the Integrity Brigade would serve as source of information to Nigerians on government and NGOs' activities while guiding through a destructive protest and thereby encouraging government to work in favor of the masses.
Integrity Brigade will be informing Nigerians what is going on. Money is meant for them. What is being used for. If it is for A, Integrity Brigade will make sure that monies are pushed to A. If it is not pushed to A, Integrity will come out and inform Nigerians what is going on. Integrity Brigade will make sure that we won't be having protests and all kinds of things to distract the government. Rather, they will fight for Nigerians by themselves through their medias and so many other peaceful means of achieving it. And I can assure you, if anyone is trying to do whatever that is not okay for the nation, and when we come out and face that person, the person will not do it. We won't leave people that are doing things and be facing the government when there are people behind some of the things that are happening. If you are the person making such wrong decisions, we come after that person without disrupting our country. Because at the end of the day, when we protest and do all sorts of things, the people that still end up suffering are the vulnerables, the less privileged, and the rural people. They are the ones that are suffering. So if we want to save Nigeria, why should we be doing things that will suffer our poor people? Insecurity today, the poor are the ones suffering it. So the Integrity Group is there to save Nigeria, to encourage Nigerians, Nigers to save Nigeria, to encourage the federal government in carrying out its duties in a way that we will not allow any individual to frustrate the efforts of the federal government that will favor the masses. So that is what the major things that we are doing on the 7th, which is very important that you people lead the road, that they will be at the front of the whole thing.
Federal government said it will begin the distribution of grains nationwide to cut sheep in the country. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Yari, disclosed this in a statement via his official X handle on Monday. The minister, who held the resilience of the Nigerian people, urged them to back President Bola Tinubu's government in its quest to address the challenges facing the country. Recall that since the removal of fuel subsidy and the floating of the naira, the cost of living in Nigeria has skyrocketed. This development has provoked protests in the several parts of the country as Nigerians sought the government's attention to address the economic hardship. Labour Party presidential candidate in the last election says it is while the gesture is laudable, it speaks volumes as to the failures of the nations to cater for its people. In a thread posted on X, formerly Twitter, on Monday, Obi asserted that this development underscores a national disgrace that stems from years of leadership failure, necessitating urgent reflection and a ordering of our national priorities and resource management and allocation. According to him, this act of human solidarity testifies to a rare generosity of spirit of the people of Ukraine, one which Obi says should earn them greater global solidarity. However, the former Anambra State governor stressed that a situation like this emphasizes vigorously the importance of sound political leadership as the first concrete requirement for any nation desiring to develop and enhance the standard of living of its citizenry. In its view, it is disheartening that Nigeria, which once was an economically confident nation, blessed with vast arable land and abundant natural resources, now relies on a war-torn Ukraine for food assistance. In 2015, Ukraine's GDP per capita was $2,125 compared to Nigeria's $2,680. By 2022, despite being at war, Ukraine's GDP per capita exceeded $4,000, while Nigeria's regressed to $2,184. Ukraine cultivates over 60% of its arable land, whereas Nigeria has over 60% uncultivated arable land. Nigerian Labour Congress and the Department of the State Services are in a face-off over the planned nationwide protest. NLC insists that only the federal government honoring its agreement with Labour will prevent the strike. In a letter dated February 29, 2024, the NLC dismissed the government's claim of fulfilling 80% of the October 2, 2023 agreement and urged the government to be transparent about its fulfillment of the agreement to avoid escalating unrest among citizens. Speaking on Atlantic Television, Society Watch public affairs analyst Rido Thompson stated that the best approach to quell the lingering economic crisis across the nation is to be transparent and focused in collaborating with the NLC on utilizing to its maximum the nation's potentials for a better livelihood.
Was supposed to reduce hardship on the populace has not been implemented. And the federal government are saying that they have honored, they have done 80% of what the NLC asks. And they are saying, no, you have not done this. How do you give 5 naira to a child and the baby is saying, I didn't see 5 naira, you insisted? Is it that NLC, they did not notice that 80% was done? Or is it that the federal government is trying to bring something that looked like a mirage that will just stop this protest? What is your take?
What the government ought to do, you know, if you remember, Immaculata, I've said it over here. If government wants to be transparent, government should issue a joint statement with NLC. That is how you save yourself about a credibility crisis.
Okay.
Issue a joint statement. Both of them should craft that statement. Government should not on its own just say, we have given you 80%. You can't be doing that in an enlightened society. Bring NLC together, say, see what we have done, agreed, agreed. See what we have done this one, agreed, agreed, agreed. Is it up to 80%? Then they jointly issue it to Nigerians. But if government goes behind NLC to be saying such things, Nigerians know who to choose.
Operator Thompson identified that the challenges faced across the country is a direct ripple effect from the insensitive governance and mismanagement of public funds.
With due respect to the Honorable Minister of Works, Engineer Dr. David Umahi, this is a distraction and a digression from the real issue. Well, the problem of this country, the problem why the economy has regressed is not headers. The problem of headers is there, but that's not why the economy. That's not why cement is 15,000. That's not why there is no. That's not why there are no roads. That's not why there is no light. That's not why petrol is 800 naira per liter. That's not the reason. So what he's doing is is just distracting us and digressing. David Umahi knows what he's saying. I won't say that he does not know what he's saying. He knows what he's saying, but he has not gotten the point. The reason why the Southeasterners are not joining in protests that you find in Kano, in Minna, in Lagos, Abuja, that's what he's trying to address, but he's not addressing it. The reason why Southeasterners are not doing so is a completely different thing.
Now, National President, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, Mohammed Ibrahim, has appealed to the federal government to release the withheld 4-month salaries of its members to help. In 2022, 2 months after ASU commenced a nationwide strike, both SSANU and the non-academic staff of educational and associated institutions also embarked on nationwide industrial action. The action was to protest the government's failure to fulfill its promises to the workers. SANU queried the rationale behind the government's insistence on the no work, no pay policy, saying that due process was followed before embarking on the strike that lasted 4 months. Till he left office, Buhari seized the payment of the workers. However, in October last year, President Bola Tinubu announced that his government will pay 4 months of the withheld salaries to members of ASU, immediately raising concerns as to the fate of the members of other unions. A few weeks ago, the Nigerian government began paying the academics, leaving out the non-academic staff. On February 13, 2024, SANU and NASU unions wrote protest letters to the Chief of Staff, to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, and the Minister of Education, Tahir Mahman, over the exclusion of the non-teaching staff from the payment of outstanding 4-month salaries. However, on March 1, 2024, the unions threatened to disrupt industrial peace in universities should the government fail to release the withheld salaries of members. Addressing a press conference on Monday, Ibrahim noted that the union's patience was running out if the FG did not do the needful. The president added that the poor economy was taking a toll on its members, and the 4-month salaries once released will help caution its effect. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, recently assured Nigerians that the narrative on the current hardship would be different within the next 1 year. The minister, who represented President Bola Tinubu at a lecture by the Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, assured Nigerians that Tinubu would deliver on his campaign promises while appealing for patience. Speaking on Atlantic Television Press Roundtable on economics and a real estate success strategist, my ace China, better known as a mayor of Hausen, tasked the Nigerian government to sit up to their mandates in the provision of food and security for its citizens as an essence of governance.
The truth and you refuse to acknowledge the truth. I think you are not ready to help the truth, because the first line of treatment for any ailment is diagnosis. If we don't know what is wrong with a place, you won't know how to treat that place. We are not suffering from economic downtown. We are not suffering from recession. We are not suffering from economic hard times. We are suffering from hunger and food crisis. It is actually worse than economic downtown. There was a recession once in Nigeria in 2008. There was even a global recession. There was a recession once when Anambra, when Peter Obi was Anambra state governor, that Anambra was the only state not in recession then. We didn't go hungry. We could eat. We didn't have this kind of crisis. And there was no forex crisis. And we could eat. And fuel was not above board. The crisis we are going through right now is that there is a hunger crisis. The protest that you're seeing going on in Nigeria is the protest for cost of living, which is the basic one, food. For the 3 basic needs of man, food, clothing, and shelter, a man can survive with homeless, without a home. There are a lot of homeless people in the world. A man can wear one clothes for 10 years and wash it every day. You can even go naked, you won't die. But no man can survive without food. And hunger is no respecter of English. Hunger is no respecter of promises. Hunger is no respecter of policy.
Speaking further, he maintained that hunger is the worst enemy of man and social development.
But The minister representing the president said one thing, that we should wait at least a year before, just like Wole Soyinka. He mentioned the background of Wole Soyinka. Wole Soyinka said he will start analyzing this government after 1 year. We talk about 1 year as if it is 365 days away. It's less than 90 days away. By May 29th, it will be 1 year. By March 29th, 28 days from today, it will be remaining 60 days. So it's actually 89 days from today. So how do Nigerians survive 89 days without food supply? How will you tell a hungry man to survive for 89 days? The greatest tragedy from what he said that he's not talking about is just last week here. 7 people, or 6, is it 6 or 7, died at the custom point trying to buy rice for 10,000. It's not free rice, as in to buy rice at 10,000 naira. 7 people lost their life. We shouldn't be talking about Nigerians being patient. We should be talking about Nigerians and the government declaring national mourning for those 7 people that lost their lives trying to buy rice at a cheaper rate of 10,000 naira. Not for
Justice Lewi Aloga of Federal High Court in Lagos on Monday struck out the charge against 19 Bureau de Change operators following the withdrawal of the case. The suspects are Ibrahim Jubril, Abdullahi Abubakar, Ibrahim Hassan, Adamu Isaka, Ibrahim Abdurrahman, Jubri Hassan, Mohammed Iswaka, Mohammed Aminu, and Adamu Ibrahim. Others are Hassan Amadu, Salisu Hamidu, Mahmoud Mohammed, Muritala Usman, Hassan Yakubu, Abdullahi Kabiru, and Ali Saddam, Amadu Yusuf, Abdullahi Hussein, and Alaji Sido. The defendants were charged with conspiracy and lawful operations of forex trading as BDC operators without a license from regulatory agencies and driving various sums of money from such unauthorized trading. They were said to have committed the offense around February 21 within the Lagos metropolis, when the case was called. Umaru Bello from the State Criminal Investigation Department, PANTI, announced appearance for the prosecution. He told the court that he would not be proceeding with the arraignment of the suspect. Justice Aloga accordingly struck out the charge. The Central Bank of Nigeria on Monday asked Nigerians to share their views about the decision he made at the end of its recent Monetary Policy Committee meeting. CBN made this known in a post on its official X handle on Monday. Recall that the 29th MPC meeting is the first since the appointment of the Olayemi Cardoso as the governor of CBN. 5 critical decisions were made by the policy organ following the conclusion of its meeting. The MPC decided to increase the country's interest rate by 400 basis points to 22.75% from 18.75%, raise the cash reserve ratio to 45.0% from 32.5%, and retain the liquidity ratio at 30%, among others. And now on the international tidbit, we're moving on to the international tidbit. Ukraine urged the West on Monday to transfer control of confiscated Russian assets to Kyiv so they could be used to rebuild the country and fund its recovery. Calls has been mounting in Washington and Europe to set up a fund for Ukraine. Ukraine has warned it desperately needs more military and financial assistance. This is just as a fresh $60 billion package of U.S. aid remains stalled in Congress. Shamgal urged Western countries to act quickly ahead of elections and political changes that could disrupt the efforts. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said last week there was a strong moral case for seizing the assets and giving them to Ukraine. She urged G7 nations to explore options. Russia has vowed to retaliate if its confiscated assets are redirected to Ukraine and has condemned the proposal as destructive. South Korea on Monday said it will take steps to suspend the licenses of striking trainee doctors who have defied orders to return to work in a standoff over medical training reforms. Around 10,000 junior doctors walked out nearly 2 weeks ago to protest against an increase in the medical school admissions from next year, which is meant to help combat shortages and meet the demands of an aging society. The striking trainees have defied a February 29 government deadline for them to return to work or face legal action, including possible arrest or suspension of their medical licenses. Second Vice Health Minister Park Min-seo told at a press conference that despite repeated government appeals, the number returning to work has been minimal. The warning on Monday followed the government's February 2029 deadline for the trainee doctors to return to hospitals, while remaining firm on its plan to increase medical school admissions by 65%. South Korea's government is pushing to admit 2,000 more students to medical schools annually from next year to address what it calls one of the lowest doctor-to-population ratios among developed nations. Haiti's government declared a state of emergency and a nighttime curfew on Sunday in a bid to quell a wave of violence sparked by a gang assault on the capital city's main prison that allowed thousands of inmates to escape. The government said in a statement that a state of emergency at 6:00 p.m. to 5:00 a.m. curfew will be effective from Sunday to Wednesday, March 6. Both measures should apply to the Quest region, which includes the capital Port-au-Prince, and would be subject to renewal. The government said the objective of the measures will be to allow it to re-establish order and take the appropriate measures to take back control of the situation. Economy Minister Patrick Michel-Boisverd signed the statement at the country's acting Prime Minister. Prime Minister Ariel Henry was in Kenya last week to sign an agreement to deploy police from the East African country to lead a UN-backed law and order mission to the gang-plagued Caribbean nation. And now on the entertainment news. Grammy-winning Nigerian singer Damini Ogulu, better known as Burna Boy, has released the declaration of March 2nd as his day in the city of Boston in Massachusetts, United States. Recall that the Boston City Council recently declared March 2nd as Burna Boy's Day in honor of the singer's performances and advocacy works. The singer was formally presented a plaque by the Boston City Council at the city's League of his I Told Them Toll on Saturday. Popular singer Habibo Oyebiele, popularly known as Portable, has bragged about his status as an artist, emphasizing his newfound prominence. He publicly gives conditions for future collaborations, highlighting his recent successful partnership with British Nigerian rapper Skepta on the track Tony Montana, which is currently making waves on streaming charts. During an Instagram live session, Portable expresses demands while bragging about his newfound celebrity status after being ridiculed as a trenches boy. The Zazu Corona asserted that moving forward, any of his peers seeking to collaborate with him must publicly show compliance by licking his foot and giving him a car. According to the founder of Z Nation, he faced ridicule from many, but Skepta, the international star, chose to support him nonetheless. Guinness World Records has toned down the Ghanaian chief Falatu Abdul Razak's attempt to break the record for the longest cooking marathon by an individual. Falatu attempted to cook non-stop for over 227 hours in January, but failed because she didn't follow the regulations for rest breaks. The coordinator, Curfew Day, announced a failed attempt which had received broad endorsement from Ghana's military, politicians and celebrities. Chef Abdul Razak thanked her fans in spite of the setback, stating that she doesn't take their important role in her path for granted. In January 2024, Ghanaian chef Falatu Abdul Razak, popularly known as Fala, cooked for 227 hours in a bid to set a new record in Guinness World Record. And now we're moving to the exciting world of sports. Super Eagles midfielder Alex Iwobi has made a return to social media after a short absence. Iwobi deleted all his Instagram posts following criticism that greeted his performance at the 2023 African Cup of Nations. The 27-year-old was a subject of cyberbullying from Nigerian fans following the Super Eagles' 2-1 final defeat to the Elephant of Cote d'Ivoire. The Fulham star, however, received support from his teammate, the Nigerian Football Federation and Sports Ministry. Iwobi has now shared a video on Instagram giving his fans and followers a glimpse of what he has been up to in recent times. In the video, he also teased a snippet of what appears to be his unreleased rap song. A number of his teammates, including William Truss Ekong, Frank Onyeka and Kenneth Omero, took to the comment section to show their support. Nigerian Olympics Committee said that Nigeria will be represented by no fewer than 358 athletes in 25 sports at the 13th African Games. Tony Nzia, the public relations officer of NOC, said this in a statement to Monday in Lagos. He said that the Games will be held from March 8 to 23 in Accra, Kumasi, and Cape Coast. According to the breakdown, Team Taekwondo, Wrestling, and Karate have the highest number of individual sports athletes, each having 14, while arm wrestling has 15 athletes. Weightlifting and badminton both have a 12-member team, while boxing has 11, police judo has 10, and Scrabble has 8 members. Union of European Footballing Associations have announced a new format for the Champions League, which will be implemented from the 2024 to 2025 season and onwards. The announcement video from UEFA via Fabrizio Romano details the changes that will be implemented in the competition format. The current 32-team group stage will be replaced by a singular 36-team league phase in the Championship League and also the Europa and Europa Conference League. Each team will be drawn against 8 different opponents, 2 from each of the 4 seeding sports, playing 4 games at a home and 4 away. The teams that finish 1st through 8 will qualify directly for the round of 16. The teams finishing 9th through 24th must face each other in a knockout playoff round to join the top 8 teams in the pre-quarterfinals. However, teams that finish 25th to 36th are eliminated directly from all competitions, as opposed to the last system of 3rd place group finishers dropping down to the lower European League's preliminary playoff round. And that's it on the global news for tonight. Before we go, let's look at the major stories. Courts to rule Edison Ehie's case April 25. Silva APC seek disbandment of tribunal. PDP releases timetable for on the governorship poll. CBN seeks Nigerians' view on interest rate. Haiti government declares state of emergency. Curfew. Portable reviews conditions for some collaboration. Iwobi returns to Instagram after AFCON criticism. And that's it on the news. I am Angel. Thank you so very much for watching. Good night. You can also follow us on our social media platform, Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Peace and unity are pathways to progress. And for me, it's good night.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis,